Hi, my name is Rujuta Waknis, and I'm a program manager at REI Systems.
Would you describe your background in education for me?
Sure, I'm an engineer by training. My last degree was my master's in management systems engineering, and I've spent almost all of my time working in technology. Um, Primarily, as I started off as a developer, then was a consultant for commercial businesses, and recently I have been working in the federal space.
How did you find REI?
I actually knew someone who was working at REI when I was at a crossroads of my career, and I didn't want to travel for my previous job. And I had heard really great things about the REI culture and how everyone from top management onwards was very involved with everyone and with all the projects and all the teams. So I looked for an open position at REI. I applied, and here I am today.
And what has your career path been within REI?
So I've had actually a lot of great opportunities to work with different projects, different teams, different customers. And wherever any leadership opportunities have presented themselves, I've always been given that chance to see if I could step up and produce the outcomes that were expected. Um, Thankfully, things have gone well along the way, and I continue to get new opportunities to challenge myself, learn new things. For example, right now, for the past 6 months, I've been working in the growth space, working on proposals and different growth initiatives to make sure that we are also looking at that aspect.
What was the most important contributor to your success in your career path?
I would say the willingness to keep challenging myself, not being afraid to try new things, the desire to keep learning new things, and having fun along the way while I was doing that.
What advice would you give to someone who wants to follow in your footsteps?
I would say the first thing would be to find work that really motivates and challenges you, and also find the right people around you to do that kind of work with. Take the opportunities that are presented. Don't be afraid of failure, and make sure that you're having fun throughout the process.
What are some of the challenges of delivering enterprise grants management systems?
There are quite a few challenges that we face. One of the most important ones is trying to balance enterprise level consistency needs with specifics that grant programs might need for their performance or their application processes. Another one that we are facing right now is trying to keep up with all the legislation that has been coming at us from the federal government. We've had the Data Act recently. We are going to have the Great Act potentially very soon. So trying to stay ahead of all of these standards and legislation to make sure our systems are compliant. And then as any kind of enterprise system challenge that we would face for grants management, the other one is ensuring constant communication and collaboration across the many different organizations or pieces of parts of the organization that are involved with our system, as well as external stakeholders. Our grantees are our stakeholders, so ensuring that we are communicating and collaborating with everyone at the same time.
Can you give me an example of a project you've worked on?
One of the recent projects I worked on was a project called the NOFO Navigator, which involved streamlining and automating the process of creating the guidance document for a notice of funding opportunity, or a NOFO, which is how any grants process starts out. Our stakeholders were spending a lot of time manually putting this document together, getting input from so many different stakeholders, manually merging all of the feedback and the reviews together, and going through a intricate review process across their existing organization, several groups outside of their organization, and even legislative or legal reviews outside of their organization. So we had to streamline that particular process. To do so, we looked at several different tools and picked the one that had the lowest training and adoption costs, and as well as looked at one that would be most efficient to update and maintain. In the process of this particular project, we had to work with all of these stakeholders and make sure that our eventual program objective of improving the productivity for this NOFO guidance process was achieved. It took us a few months, but at the end of the day, we were able to save about 40% of their time per NOFO in getting this guidance document out.
How do you achieve the outcomes your customers expect?
Well, I think the first part is to really understand their mission and their vision for that particular program. You have to figure out what their expectations are and how they are going to be involved in helping us achieve those objectives. In REI, we try to keep that mission always as our North Star throughout all of our projects. Making sure that we are delivering and aligning our project with that mission. Using that North Star, we come up with innovative, effective, efficient ways to meet those needs.
Can you explain REI's approach to working with its customers?
Sure. In all of our projects at REI, we always start with the customer's mission as our guiding North Star throughout project execution. We understand what that mission is, what it means, and also how it translates to the customer's vision for our specific project. And this makes all of our work so much more meaningful, whether it's helping underserved populations receive healthcare or helping persons of or victims of trafficking receive, attention to their cases. The other thing that we try to focus on is create a more engaging interface for our systems. A lot of the end users of our systems are the American public. So we want to make sure we have easy to understand, intuitive interfaces so that they can engage with our systems in a very quick and productive way. The other thing that we try to do is always think of new and better ways of doing things. We're looking to be innovative, finding a more efficient process. It could be a tool, it could be the way we do our work, it could be even the way we do our videos. We're constantly trying to find a better way to do things.